I'm done with the treatments, and I'm telling everybody I'm okay when they ask. People say, you know, aren't you glad? Isn't everything over? And you're like, oh, yeah, everything's over. Everything's good. Don't worry about me. And yet in the back of your mind, you know, obviously you keep that thought there that it could come back. I mean, there's no test for it. It's really frustrating that there's no way to just say, okay, there's really no cancer in you. I mean, you don't have any idea if there's some rogue cells floating around in there waiting to set up shop somewhere. And so, you know, in the back of your mind, it's pretty tough to just put it out of your mind. And this is kind of a tricky time when you're done having regular appointments with doctors and having this regular reassurance that something's being done to make you better. Now you're just sort of declared, okay, the treatment's over, go out and live your life, and it's a little tough. So outwardly, you know, you go ahead and tell everybody everything's fine, you're feeling good, and you try to live your life. But, you know, in your mind, you still have that fear, I think. I think normal people have that fear. I mean, it's great if you just feel like it's all over for you. That's fantastic, but that's certainly not the way I was feeling at all. So by November, everything was going okay, you know, and I'm still sort of a little obsessed with checking and making sure that there are no new lumps, there's nothing going on. And one day I feel a lump in a different place, not under my arm, but about 6 o'clock at the lower part of my breast, and on the same side, on the right side. And so, you know, again, you go through the same cycle in your mind. Was that there before? Is this new? Have I felt this? Is this here? Did it go away? Is it a cyst? So you have to spend a couple of weeks sort of focused on it, saying, okay, every day I feel it, it's here, I know it's real. It's not my imagination. So I did that for a little while, and finally I said, okay, there's a lump here I need to figure out and go to the doctor. And now I'm actually even a little embarrassed. God, the worst part about cancer is this feeling that I'm a big baby now. That just wasn't part of my identity. I always joke that I'm a tough guy. You know, I can take it. I can do things. I've been in the military. You know, I've been around the world. I carry my own bags. I change my own tires. I mean, you know, I can handle things, and cancer takes that away from you in so many ways. And one of them is this feeling of now suddenly I'm this hypochondriac that's over-focused on this one thing. So it takes me a little while to get in, but finally I say I've got to go see the doctor. I'm just going to have to risk the embarrassment of being wrong and go see her. So I go see her. She feels the lump. She says, yeah, maybe we should take a look at this. And then while she's giving me an exam, she feels another lump that I hadn't even noticed in a different spot on my breast. So she says, let's go get a sonogram. Let's take care of these and let's look. So I do. I go get a sonogram. Sure enough, there's 2 suspicious areas now. I think at this point I'm becoming like the lady everyone's afraid of. This metaplastic breast cancer is known to be aggressive. It's known to come back early. It's known, you know, to be dangerous, frankly. And maybe a normal breast cancer patient wouldn't get a recurrence so quickly, or even a new tumor so quickly. Especially, I've just finished chemo. I've only been out of radiation for 10 weeks. By the time the sonogram comes back, the doctor says, well, we need a core needle biopsy. So again, I'm going in to get a core needle biopsy. It's December the 27th, 2012. It's basically the same year that I was diagnosed with breast cancer, metaplastic breast cancer in the first place, and now I'm getting another biopsy after all my treatment, after all the radiation, after the chemo, everything. I get the core needle biopsy. I you know, hang on through the holiday and the new year, and the pathology comes back, and the doctor calls me and she says, well, the one spot that she found was not anything to be concerned with, but the second spot that I had found was another metaplastic breast cancer tumor. So now I know a lot more about what to expect, but now I'm also a little more scared, because I think the biggest fear we all have isn't that tumor. Breast cancer doesn't kill you if it's in your breast. it kills you when it moves out of your breast and starts to set up shop in your bones or your lungs or your brain. And so, you know, you find out you have another tumor. Okay, now cross your fingers and pray that it's still just in your breast, that it's not somewhere else. The doctor says you need to have a mastectomy. We're just going to have to take your breast off. It's just going to have to happen. And, you know, of course, I was in full agreement with that. I was trying to be good and follow protocol, and my first tumor was small, and normally you would get a lumpectomy, but I think, you know, in retrospect for myself, I wish I would have insisted upon a mastectomy because of the metaplastic breast cancer part of my diagnosis. But I didn't, so now I need a mastectomy.